Howdy. How's everybody out there in YouTube land today? Let's see who's going to join me here for my live stream while I'm snapping these beans today. I got a little bitty jag, about a half a jag of beans. And we'll see if anybody wants to join me. And maybe I'll come up with some stories to tell you, because you never know what I'm liable to say or do next. But I'm going to snap these beans there. Got a little bucket over here that I'm going to put them in as I get them snapped up. Who wants to join me here today? My screen ain't set up right, I don't believe. What's going on with this thing? It's going all cattywampus. TC's in the house. And Benny Loco's in the house. Good to have you in there. I'm going to be snapping up these beans that I've just picked out of the garden. I've come in here to cool down. Lord have mercy. It's hotter than a hooker's doorknob on nickel night. Oh, how y'all doing out there today? I mowed the yard. I picked maters. And then I saw there's beans out there needed picked. There may be a few more out there. This is the third picking on these beans, so it's getting down toward the end of them. Thank you, Benny Loco. Appreciate that. Thought I'd just sit in here with a cold drink and snap some beans, see if anybody wanted to come in and chat with me while I'm getting through these things. I'll get them on to cook. I got some ham shanks out in the refrigerator. I got some onion out there I'll chop up in them, put a little broth in there, and let them slow cook in the slow cooker. Holy smoke, 107. Man, oh man. That's hot. Margie Yeomans. Thank you, Sharma. Glad to have both of you in the house as well. Join up here, TCTV and Benny Loco in the house. We're just jawing a little bit, cooling off. Yeah, I believe it, TC. I've about melted. I think you could wring the water out of my shoes. Yeah, but I guess that'd be called Southern style, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's the way I was taught to make them. That's the best way. Come up with some good tasting beans. I'm out of new potatoes. I usually put some new potatoes in them, but I'm not going to worry about that this batch. I can always cook some taters and throw in with them later. I'm not going up to the store today. It's too hot. Cool with that. If I'm going to go to the store, I'll go early of a morning. Live to learn's in the house. Hey, Dana. What's up with you? Snapping these beans. It rained here Friday and Saturday, like somebody pouring water out of a boot. And it stopped yesterday and started trying to dry off. And my grass, I mean, I was kind of surprised that I didn't find people hiding in it. That's how tall it's getting. And it is that tall out there in my garden. I can't mow back there because of the vines. I should have thought about that when I planted all that stuff, but I planted those gourds. And, you know, gourds are going to go wherever gourds want to go. They've gone up the tree out there in the backyard, and then they've gone across the yard. And so if I mow the yard, I'm going to mow off my vines, and the vines have blooms all over them, and I want to harvest the crop. So the grass is just going to have to take it out there. I ain't messing with it. Frost will kill it this fall, so, you know, it ain't that big a deal. It's in the fenced yard, so ain't nobody going to see it but me. But man, oh man. Yeah, you could add bacon to it, but bacon isn't as good as adding shanks to it. If you don't have shanks, you can always add some bacon. Anything with a little pork fat to it, be good in them. I prefer my shanks. If I can't get shanks, I put hocks in. Hocks just don't have as much meat to them. Hey, there's Al. Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. Good to have you in there. Are you still on vacation, Al? Hill Kitten in the house. Good to have you in there. I'm going to do my live tonight at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk to the Magic 8 Ball, see what Magic 8 Ball has to tell us. And we may play some trivia, and we can talk some more about them old TV shows if you want to. Or you tell me what all you want to talk about. We'll talk about it. Margie says, remember when the kids were small, beans, tomatoes, etc., had a hard time finding their way into the kitchen. We never had that problem because we had so many. We planted like an acre garden when I was a kid, and it was my job to take care of it. And I'd have to get out there and take care of that garden, keep it weeded, and get the crops off of it. And then I'd have to put up the tomatoes and the beans and, you know, whatever pickles, whatever we had, that corn, stuff out of the garden. And whatever was left over that we didn't have for dinner or put up, then I took it to the farmer's market. Al says that he is vacationing, drinking Corona while he cooks barbecue, some lemon, garlic, pepper, yard bird on the grill. All right. That sounds pretty good. Mercy sakes. I have got an old grill out in the garage, but I ain't even fired that thing up since I moved here, and it's been 6 years come fall that I've been here. But I used to love to fix that beer can chicken. And you don't have to have beer. It's all you need is the can. You can take a soda can, put you some broth in there, something that's going to season up the meat and keep it moist. But I used to do that beer can chicken on the grill. Yeah, everybody's is, Margie. She's talking about her notifications. Yep, everybody's are. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you get the notifications. Sometimes you don't. I even get notifications for channels that I'm not subscribed to. Now, figure that one out. Hey, JD Night 7's in the house. Oh, TC wants me to do a howdy for her little boy. So, y'all hold your ears now because I don't want to deafen you. Okay? Everybody ready? Brenda's going to do a howdy. Frozen just come in the house. I'm going to do a howdy for TC's little boy. So, y'all hold your ears. Howdy! There you go. You got to get down on that howdy now. A lot of people try to do it and they can't get a hold on it. Thank you, Frozen. I'll be doing my live stream at 8 o'clock tonight too. I just thought I'd tune this thing up and snap these beans, see what y'all's up to. Yeah, some of you may remember Minnie Pearl or have heard of her. You younger ones won't remember, but Minnie Pearl was my hero, buddy. I loved her. She was on the Midwestern Hayride. And she was a comedian, and she was country western type comedian. And she always wore big old flower print dresses, and she had a big old straw hat that had a price tag hanging off the front of it. And whenever she come out on the stage, she'd do a big old howdy. And I always wanted to be like Minnie Pearl when I was a little girl. Some people, you know, they strove to be nurses or lawyers, doctors, you know, whatever, maybe working in office, what have you. But when I was real little, that's what I wanted to be, was Minnie Pearl. My mother, she just shook her head, you know, she didn't know what to do with me, because whatever it was that she wanted for me, I wasn't interested. It wasn't my cup of tea. They probably, I haven't looked, but I would imagine on YouTube they probably have some old clips of Minnie. I always thought she was really funny. And I love that hat. So he's a piece of work. Yeah, Al found a link for her. So is everybody else just trying to stay cool today? You got any irons in the fire or anything going on Al's cooking. We know what Al's up to. JD says he's going to be riding his bike soon. I hope it's cooler where you are. I mean, I guess if I was outside and I wasn't moving, it probably wouldn't be too bad today. I think it's just over 80 degrees out there. But when you get moving around and the sun bearing down on you, wow. Yep. Little Jimmy Dickens and remember String Bean? He was real tall feller, and he always wore them little short breeches, you know, and the big old long shirts that come down to about where his knees are. And they called him String Bean. He was a funny feller too. And talented. They was all talented. They could all play some kind of musical instruments and sing. And I'm trying to remember the name of the feller on the Midwestern Hayride that was the MC of it, and I can't remember his name. Isn't that funny? You know, as you grow older, there's certain things that you can remember and certain things that just slip your mind altogether. Yeah, I'd love to see, you know, they got these oldie channels that play the old TV shows and stuff. I'd love to see them put on things like the Midwestern Hayride. And I can remember the theme song. It was Come Along and Let's Make Merry Down by the Western Shore. That's how they'd come on with that. Yep, there you go, TC. When he wants to hear the howdy now, you can just pull up Minnie Pearl for him. Ask him if Minnie does it as good as me. Can Minnie Pearl do her howdy as good as Brenda? There was over on Hee Haw, you had Buck Owens and Roy Clark. There was some talent. I'm waiting for the mail to run. I'm expecting some stuff that I ordered to come in the mail today. I'm ordering my bird seed for my bird critters in bulk, and ordered a big old bag of canary food, and I'm expecting that to come in as I'm about out. My canaries will be glad to see that today. Oh, he says I do. Oh, Al says I do the howdy better. Well, JD, it was good to have you in the house. Yeah, TC says that I do it better. Yeah, that old song, Margie, where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I searched the world over and I thought I'd found true love, but you met another and you was gone. Oh, I have tales that I could tell like that right there too. Then I had that other one, gloom, despair, and agony on me. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Thunder the Wonder Dog, that old bloodhound they had on the porch. That dog was so lazy it wouldn't even get up to eat. I heard a comedian talking about teenagers being lazy the other day, and he tickled me. He's talking about his daughter. He made her salad and set the salad down in front of her at the table. Teenage girl. And she looked at him and she says, "Do we have any ranch dressing?" And he says, "Yeah, it's in the refrigerator." And she just gave a big old sigh and sat there and choked down her salad because she's too lazy to swivel her chair around to the refrigerator and open the door. He says, "We're common people." He said, "We eat in the same room that we fix the food in and the refrigerator sits in. It wasn't like she had to make a trip to the Hidden Valley to get it." Oh, yeah, you hear Fred? Fred's trying to co-host. Fred's my cockatiel. When I do shows during the day, he thinks that that's his time to shine. So he's in the next room there. He really gets going. You could hear him all the way downtown. He's something. Oh, this is my third picking on these beans, Dana. Mine's about done. Of course, I planted them back 1st of May, too, so that makes a big difference. But there'll be one more picking on them. There's still some blooms out there yet, so I'll get one more batch, I think, out of them. Now, how many there'll be, that remains to be seen, but there'll be some more to pick. Probably enough to cook one more little batch, and that'll be about it. Yep, he's got his own rendition of songs too. What he was trying to do is his rendition of Sesame Street. He likes that song, and he doesn't do it like it should be done, but you can make out enough of it to know that's what he's trying to do. He won't whistle songs like I try to teach him. I think he does that mainly to frustrate me, but yeah, he's got quite the song. Now, when my canaries get going, wow, those canaries have a beautiful song that they sing. Trying to think of what the variety is on those. It has some kind of a big special name to it, and they don't sing like regular canary songbirds do. They have a real fancy song that they spit out. You can spell, but your fingers ain't hitting the buttons. Yeah, I know how that works. Same way with talking for me. I can think the word, but it don't come out of my mouth right. I just say, I just brushed my teeth and I can't do a thing with them. Yep, he makes his own versions, Hell Kitten. Got his own thing going on there. He has parodies, I guess you'd say. He does parodies of the real thing. I'll be doing a show Wednesday night, too, at 9 o'clock Eastern with a panel. And this week we're going to be doing a panel about editing. We're going to show some different kinds of editing software and explain how it's used. So you might want to be interested in that. And who knows what else we'll come up with. You know how we are. We get to joking and having some fun. Yeah, that's it, Hell Kit. Maybe, he doesn't want to get a copyright strike on him. I'm pretty sure that YouTube couldn't pick up on what he's trying to do. Did y'all have good weekends out there? Did you do anything special? I had a lot of plans to do things around here. I don't think I got any of them done. Green Bay Wacky threw a kink in my plans the other day because I had plans to work on some editing software, and then he decided to go live about a dozen times that day. So I was modding for him and I didn't get nothing done. And yesterday, I was going to do something yesterday, and I forget what got in my way yesterday. But I figure, well, I just roll with the punches. Something else comes along. I figure, well, it must be more important than what I had planned to do, and I just go with it. But today I had planned to mow the yard. As I'd been watching the weather, I figured it'd be dry enough to get out there and get her done. So that's what I was after today, is just getting the yard all straightened up and then get to the garden. So now that's what's left off of all those beans that I just broke. Just the little end pieces and stuff that I snapped off of them. And we can roll that up and put that in the trash. And there's my bucket of beans that I just snapped. Ready to wash and put in the cooker with the hocks and the onion and the broth, little salt, let it slow cook, make a house smell good. Cab 7's in the house. Hey, Cab. Good to see you. Just got done snapping these beans that I picked up out of the garden. I picked maters. I got another batch of maters put up now. Lord have mercy. I feel like that donut filler. You know, they had that old commercial on TV about the feller from Dunkin' Donuts. And he'd go to make the donuts and come back from making the donuts and go to make the donuts. And he started meeting himself coming and going at the door. And that's the way I feel about these maters. I put up 2 big batches of maters, and I got another big old batch in there that needs put up now, but they'll wait a day or two. I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, y'all need to get over there to Cab 7's channel and sub up to him. If you ain't subbed up already, good inspirational channel Cab's got going over there. Good to see all of you in the house today. Know y'all safe and sound. I wonder about you when I'm not online or not doing a show. Wonder what y'all are up to. Hope that you're staying cool and not getting in any trouble and not getting hit by lightning. Lord have mercy, some of these lightning storms coming along been hateful. The maters may grow legs and run off. I don't think so. They haven't so far. The last 2 batches have been right there looking at me. Every time I go through the kitchen, they'll be sitting there staring at me, reminding me, hey, wowsy woozy. But it's always good to go out and spend a little time in the garden with nature, watch the bugs. One thing I have not seen this year, I always have some praying mantis around in the garden. I ain't seen none this year. They usually like to watch me when I'm picking the beans. And I don't know why they're not out there this year. I miss them. Because they're friendly little critters, you know, and they just sit there and keep me company while I pick beans. TC says she babs, but she's not so sure about the small one in the house. Yep, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Got to put a bell on them sometimes, so you know where they're at. You know, like the little them collars that you put on the cat with the bell, so you know where they're at. Oh my! Well, I'm beginning to cool down a little bit, thank goodness. Fixed me a big old tall cold drink with some ice to help cool my innards. Cab says he's been seeing some cocoons on the trees, but he hasn't seen the mantis. I may be hiding out over there in my gourds too, because Lord have mercy, you never seen so many gourd vines in all your life. It's like Jack and the Beanstalk. One of them, I got that crabapple tree in my backyard, and that thing is probably about 20 foot tall. And the gourd vines have gone up that tree clear to the top, and now they're starting back down, and they got blooms all over them. There's going to be gourds all over that tree, and they're thick on the fenced line out there and across the yard, blooms everywhere you look. And that's good, because I wanted a nice crop of gourds. So it looks like we're going to be covered up in gourds come fall. I wait until after the first frost, and then I go out and gather them all up, put them someplace cool so that they can dry out over the winter. They probably have some beans up to the store. They won't be as good as these because you don't know where they come from, what kind they are. These are Blue Lake. I like the Blue Lake bush beans myself. When I was a kid at home, we raised 2 or 3 different kinds of beans. And then Granny always liked her pole beans, because she liked to go out in the cornfield and plant them along the corn where they'd vine up on the corn. but those always were stringy. You had to string them things. And my favorites is always the blue lakes. So that's all I ever plant is blue lakes. I do not do pumpkins. I think that Cab has some pumpkins out in his garden, but I don't do pumpkins myself. Well, bless your heart, Cab. Thank you so very much. That's so sweet of you. I appreciate that. I can afford to go buy some more meat to cook with my beans. Yeah, Elbit Kitten says she wants fresh. Do you have a farmer's market around where you're at? Here we've got a farmer's market on Saturdays. The one here in this town isn't too good, but the one, the big town over, has a real good farmer's market in it. And then south of me, about 20 miles, is an Amish market. It's like a grocery store, but it's a big old store. And they have all kinds of good fresh things in there. So sometimes you can find a pretty good market around where they're selling fresh produce that's local. Down in Richmond, which is an hour from my house, there's a big old market down there too, where they raise everything themselves and put it in the market. They don't buy stuff to put in there. They raise it all themselves. They have an orchard and a big old garden. Yeah, I've got some, there's some hocks and some shanks both out there. So I don't know. I usually use the shanks. I like the shanks the best because they have more meat on them. But if you can't get the shanks, use the hocks. Well, sometimes in them small towns, they'll put out a little roadside stand too and sell out along the road. You know, sometimes they'll pull in a parking lot and set up their patio umbrella and put a little table out there and be selling fresh produce in the small town. So if you're in like a farm community, you might find something like that around too. Drive around and check around and ask around. So if you're on Facebook with your local community, sometimes they'll put up a community page on Facebook and tell you where things is going on. Or call the local extension office and ask them if there's a market around any place close. County extension office. Cab says, my pumpkins actually died because of the overabundance of rain. Wow. And you'd think that they would really thrive on that, wouldn't you, Cab? Because, you know, pumpkins, they thrive on the water. But I guess there is such a thing as too much. Yeah, Margie says she uses them for pinto beans. Yes, that's right. Pinto beans, even navy beans or Great Northerns, you know, you stick you some ham meat in there, some kind of ham meat, flavor them up. Yeah, find it like the extension office or a Facebook page for your community where you live. And a lot of times they'll advertise on that kind of stuff. Just ask around. Cab says all the other vegetables and fruits are coming along well. That's good. That's good. I should have looked when I was out there, and I didn't think about it, but my gooseberries ought to be coming along good if the birds ain't got them. I lost my grapes because last year we got an we got a late frost in the spring, and they was all leafed out and starting to bloom up, and the frost got them in the spring, and then that was the end of them. They just died off, but it didn't bother the gooseberries. I didn't get a very good stand on my strawberries this year. Birds got into them. Unless you keep those strawberry plants netted in this neighborhood, doggone starlings get into them. But they're spreading out good. There should be a good crop of them next year if I can keep the birds off of them. Well, you have to find out when the stands are up and then make plans. Our farmer's market here is on a Saturday morning, 8 to noon. If you want the good stuff, you better be there at 8 o'clock or it gets all picked over. So, you set your alarm accordingly and get there. Sugar baby watermelons. Now, I've tried watermelons. I can't do no good with them. They take a special soil. They require special fertilizer here in this area, and I just can't do no good with them. Margie said, farmers up here are afraid of the blight again. 2 years in a row up here hurting the farmers bad, especially the tomatoes. Huh? Wow. My beans, I just snapped them. I sat here and snapped them while I was talking to everybody. I don't cut them. I just snap them up. It's just so much quicker. Of course, I've had years of experience too. It will be about, well, it'll be over 50 years of experience doing it. Cab says he has a honeydew melon that is a bit slow this year, but they're running about 45 days behind right now. Hey, Barnyard Chicken's in the house. And I didn't say a proper hey to Kathy's Vintage TV, so I'll say a proper hey to you. Glad to have you in the house. My brain's about half functioning because it got so hot out there in the yard and garden. You could, if you wanted to. You could eat them plain. I like to cook them, though, put some flavor into them. I mean, you know, they taste like green beans, but I like to add a little ham and some onion and some broth and a little salt. Yep, bushel baskets of beans for canning. Yep, used to do that a lot as a kid. Go out and pick 5 or 6 bushel, bring them up to the yard in the shade, sit there and snap a bushel, go in and start getting them ready and processing. And then I come back and snap another bushel, put on a batch for supper. And then all of the ones that I hadn't snapped, I'd load up and take up to the farmer's market to sell. Oh, it's always fun to get out in the garden. At least it is for me. I guess there, you know, some people wouldn't think much of it. If you don't like dirt and you don't like bugs and you don't like getting itchy, and I've never been a prissy girl, so it don't bother me. Margie said she cooked string beans with onions and vinegar. Yeah. Yeah, but I've never been a fan of the string beans. Granny loved them. She always, you know, she showed me how to string them and all that, but I just, you know, wasn't a fan of that. The Blue Lakes, you know, they're big, beefy beans. Yeah, I mean, you can tell looking there in that bowl at them. They're nice and big and beefy, and there's no stringing to them. You get tangled up between your teeth. You miss some. Yep, you're right, Cab. It's great therapy. Getting back to nature and grounding yourself. A lot of people don't understand grounding, but it's important to get yourself grounded. Oh, hell, getting screams like a baby if a bee lands on her. Oh, they ain't going to bother you. Unless you bother them. You bother them, then they might come after you. They're just checking you out. Oh, there's Green Bay Wacky in the house. Prissy girl. Lord have mercy. Not this one. Not this one. About the only time you'll see me acting anything that might resemble Prissy is if snakes come after me. Man, I tell you what, I will take off. Not into the snakes. Margie wants to know if I still have Webster's pickled pig's feet down here. We got some kind of pickled pig's feet in the store, but I don't know what brand they are. But I've seen them. My granny used to eat them all the time. I've never been a fan, but yeah. Thank you for the donation, Wacky. Very much appreciated. Hell Kitten says she can handle the snakes, but no bees. Yeah, I've got bees all over the backyard back there. They love the blooms on all the plants, you know, and then they go off to wherever their hive is and make their honey, I guess. But Yeah, there's bees all over. There's a wasp nest up above the patio that I got to get down. Some night I'll go out there and take care of that. If you wait till after dark to take them down, you won't get stung. But yeah, years ago, I was with a couple, the kids from school. We was out at the creek. And there was rocks out in the middle of the creek, you know. We was wading around, and I was standing on a rock out in the middle of the creek, and one of the kids looked at me and said, I bet you don't know what's down there at your feet. And I looked down, and there was a snake curling up around my foot. And I took off out of that creek like I splashed it dry. They laughed and laughed over that. I don't want nothing to do with the snakes. I know there's lots of people that like them, but they're just not my type of critter. Yeah, Margie says, I'll show you how fast I can run through a snake. My mother used to talk about her grandma and how she'd go out mushroom hunting in the woods, you know, and this was down in Virginia, and I guess they got copperheads down there. And she said that grandma would be out there looking for mushrooms, and if she came across a copperhead snake, buddy, she'd throw her dress over her head. You know, back then women didn't wear slacks, they all wore dresses. She said she'd throw her dress tail over her head and run. I think she's trying to blind the snake. Yeah, Kathy says, reminder of her family, wait till dark to mess with the hornet's nest. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to bother them during the day because that's when they're active. You go out at night and get them down. And you douse them good with some spray and get rid of them before morning comes so they ain't buzzing around no more. Yep, that's when the wasps are asleep. Yeah, I guess, you know, some people call them hornets, some call them wasps. There might be some kind of technical difference, but whatever they are, they'll sting you. They're mean. Green Bay Wacky says to Margie that he's having coffee. Me and wife did a TV-a-thon, watched 5 hours miniseries North and South until 7 in the morning. Yeah, we know, because we had you in the hangouts. You was going to come back, and you never did, and we knew you wasn't coming back. 30 years together. I can't believe anybody put up with him that long. Do I cut a snake's head off after Sunday? I ain't going to get close enough to it to cut its head off. The last place I lived is out in the country, and I come home from work one day, got out of the car and was walking up. There was a deck on the front of my house. I was walking up to come up steps on the deck, and there's a snake laying across the steps. And I thought, well, now how do I get rid of that thing? And so I picked up some gravel and driveway and went throwing at it, and it was raising its head up and acting silly. And finally, it decided to take off. But I thought I may never get to get in the house if that thing don't go away. Stuck out here in my car for the rest of my life. Oh, mercy sakes, Margie, thank you. Bless your heart. That's very sweet of you for being me. Well, it's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. Oh, thank you, Green Bay. Thank you so much. Did y'all know that I'm Green Bay's executive producer? But, you know, in order for me to have that title, I have to refer to him as Your Majesty or Your Highness or Your Excellency. You know, he'll accept any of those three. He's tough on me. I'll tell you what, we get in the hangouts and I'm just chopped liver. Oh, Lord. Having coffee. Now, let me ask you, Green Bay, this is a discussion we never got into because I don't drink coffee. But do you drink that fancy coffee, you know, that's got the the cream whipped up in it and adding all the flavorings and stuff to it. And I don't know, you know, they do all kinds of fancy things to it. I call it frou-frou coffee. Do you drink that frou-frou stuff, or do you drink coffee? Actually, no, it's simply King Wacky. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't get that memo. Yeah. Sissy coffee. Do you drink sissy coffee or Green Bay, or do you drink the real thing? Because I was talking to somebody in a hangout this morning who's drinking that frou-frou stuff. Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Cab. Oh, my. Bless y'all's hearts. I got some of the sweetest friends ever was. Margie says she drinks Folgers. Okay, Green Bay says, no way, no latte, no whipped cream brewed in the coffee maker, cream and sugar. Okay, so you dress it up a little bit, but you don't go overboard. You don't dress it for Sunday dinner, you know. You're not putting the caramel and the vanilla. Well, he drinks Frappuccinos. Oh. Yeah, I've never been one to drink that fancy coffee. Now, years and years ago, my goodness, it's probably been 12, 15 years ago. I was doing, oh, Green Bay, thank you so very much. Bless y'all's hearts. Redneck Dipper in the house. Hello, Redneck Dipper. Kathy wants to know, where am I from? Well, I was born and raised in Ohio, and I moved over to Indiana about 7 years ago. But one side of the family is from Virginia, and the other side of the family was from Kentucky. And I spent a lot of time with my granny that was out of Kentucky. Oh, bless you, Cab. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Green Bay, for tweeting the stream. I'll be doing my regular 8 o'clock tonight stream, too. But since I had these beans to snap, I've kind of made it a habit of coming in here and turning on the YouTube and seeing who wanted to hang around. Hell Kitten says, Ohio, that's where she's from. Yeah, Preble County is where I was born, or where I was raised. I was born in Montgomery County. Bless your heart, Margie. My goodness gracious. Y'all just too sweet. Man. I'm not diabetic, but I may need insulin after this. Y'all a bunch of sweethearts. Oh, my. Hey, there's Chroma Storm Arts. Good to see you in there, Amanda. Bless your heart. I ain't seen you in months. Okay, Redneck Dipper says, where in Ohio did you live? I lived in Preble County. I went to school in a little town called Lewisburg, and the farm was in a little town called near a little town called West Manchester, over in Preble County, Ohio. It's on the west side of the state, right next to the Indiana state line, right off of Interstate 70. Barnyard Chicken says he likes heavy whipped cream in his coffee. Oh, my goodness. You only do it once in a while. Well, okay, then you ain't too bad off. But, yeah, I was about to tell you about, I did those mystery shops, you know. And so the company, one of the companies that I worked for, sent me to Starbucks. And they sent me these scales to weigh the coffee, you know, the cup of coffee that I bought. And they sent me thermometer to measure the temperature in it. They wanted to know exactly what it was like when I purchased it. But I couldn't do it right in front of them. You know, I had to slip out to the car and weigh it up and take the temperature on it. And then, of course, you could drink the coffee. Well, I've never been a coffee drinker. And they said, you told you what to order. And so I ordered whatever frou-frou fancy coffee thing they told me to order. And I went out and I weighed it, and I took temperature on it, wrote all the stuff down so that I could inform the company. And then I thought, well, you know, I've just drank this coffee since I had it. That was the awfulest taste and stuff. Oh, my goodness gracious. I thought, they're trying to poison me. Lord, have mercy. That's nasty. And I poured that stuff out the car door. That was horrible. I don't know how anybody can drink that stuff. Talk about rotting your guts out. Kathy says she's in Indiana. She's a Kentucky transplant. I'm on the east side of Indiana, Jay County, Portland, Indiana is where I currently am. Breaking the shells in here. Did I miss them? Must have. Thank you, Green Bay, for letting me know. Glad to see you breaking the shell. How the shell are you? Oh, thank you, TC. Bless your heart. Mercy sakes. Yep, Green Bay, I'm on Twitter. And I also have a Facebook group called BrendaG's Designs Group. It will be in the description of this video. So after it loads up, you can check it out. Come over there and sign up for my group. And what my group's going to be about is for you to put in your videos, your live streams. We can talk about YouTube. We can talk about crafty stuff, gardens, whatever you want to talk about. I thought it was called Brenda's Beans. No. BrendaG's Designs. Every place you look, that's where you're going to find me. BrendaG's Designs. Jugluck Gaming is in the house. Good to have you in there. My goodness. Monday afternoon, everybody coming out of the woodwork for bean snapping. Yeah, Green Bay put me up to putting something else on Facebook there, and so I did. I put that group up. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, if you're not signed up for the group, go over there. We'll get you approved. Oh, Amanda said that she poured a gourd. She does acrylic art pouring, acrylic paint pouring, and she poured a gourd. That's cool. Was it a dried gourd? You could always put a hole in the front of it there and try to scrape some of them seeds and stuff out of it and turn it into a birdhouse. Barnyard Chicken says, I just requested at the Facebook group. I'm Lisa. Same pictures here. Cool. Okay, Lisa. We'll get you approved. I'll get over there here in a little bit. I think it'll be a lot of fun over there. You have us a nice little group. But yeah, tonight we'll do the Magic 8 Ball, and we'll do some trivia of some sort. Maybe talk about TV shows like we did last week for a while. Jeff Robinson just strolled in. No red beans, black beans, or navy beans. No, these is green beans, fresh out of my garden. Blue Lake bush beans. Just snap them up. I'm going to get them in a slow cooker here in just a little bit. Cook them up with some ham and some salt and onion. I'm out of new taters. I like to put them in, but I'm out. So just cook them the way they are. Fix a side of cornbread with them. Didn't know being a redneck was so popular. Well, popular or not, there I am. Amanda says she's going to seal it with polyacrylic. Well, that's cool. I've never heard of that. I'd be interested to see that done. Just kind of checking here, make sure that I ain't missed nobody. I think I've got everybody covered that's come in. Cool. And then Wednesday night, we'll do the panel again, but this time we're going to be talking about editing. And I've got 3 different people to show editing programs. Green Bay can show the Wondershare Filmora, and Fireman CV will be showing the Camtasia. And Matt has one. I can't remember the name of Matt's, but we'll have Matt on the show. He's with Awesome Wood Things, and he can show his something pro. I forget what it's called now, but he can tell you all about that one. And we start trying to figure out what we need to do with editing. But I think I'm going to get off of here now and get these beans on and get a shower and start getting ready for tonight's show. It's 3:07 p.m. here in the afternoon in Indiana. I maybe can get a few more things accomplished before I got to get ready for tonight's show. So I believe I'm going to let y'all go. But I thank y'all for showing up and keeping me company here for a little bit while I cool down. Don't forget to check out the other channels that's there in the chat. I'm doing this here on Hangouts, so the chat's probably going to end when I shut her down, but pop the chat out so that you can scroll back up through it and make sure that you're bust up to everybody that's in there. We got good supporters in here. Jeff says that he made some peanut butter banana sugar cookies. Wow, I've never had those. That sounds good. That sounds wonderful. I was thinking about maybe whipping up a batch of molasses cookies, but I may wait until either late tonight or in the morning to do it when it's a little cooler so I don't heat the house up a whole lot. But yes, I think I'm going to get going and get these beans on to cook, and I will see you all tonight on the live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Only one thing left to say. Brenda's crafty. Be like Brenda. Thanks, y'all. Bye.